Um,
Only me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dallas podcast. I'm joined with John, Osha, and B, and we're here to review the King's Demons, I guess.
That seems
But
to be
was
throwing you off your stride, Alex. Are you not familiar with the early '90s comedic characters of Harry Enfield?
I got where you were going with that. It was just I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, we're here to review the King's
I mean, that,
Demons,
that was the whole point because that
but uh,
character pop up when not expected.
but first, how are
Hang on,
we
hang on,
all?
hang on. Did you say we're reviewing the King's Demons?
Yeah.
Well, I've been rewatching The Queen's Gambit.
Ah,
Oh
nice,
shit.
nice. Never
Oh
seen it.
no.
Never
No,
seen it.
you need to watch it. Very good.
And I've been rewatching the King's Speech. Are we not doing one with a star? Oh shit.
No,
It's all about it's all about chess being sexy. The Queen's Gambit.
that does.
Queen's Gambit.
Actually,
Not the King's Speech.
actually, there is a porn version of the King's Speech, but yeah,
I am not going to ask how they Fury Star.
Oh, vile. Anyway,
I
I'm
mean,
good.
I think there's a porn version of the Queen's Gambit as well. Lots of bishops get handled.
Oh, are we good?
yeah, right.
Anyone been up to anything fun?
Been
Uh,
ill.
That's not news for you. That's every other week.
That's like every other week.
Considering we film this on 2 week basis, every kind of 2 weeks, you're ill.
Yeah.
But every two podcasts, you're ill.
Well, I saw two out of the three other people in this call on Saturday. So
Yeah, we had a few beers. We had
I was pleased to see one of them.
oh, fuck off.
We went,
I
I think he's talking about Sparky.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Went to a traditional East End pub.
Did? Yeah.
Well, it used to be a traditional East End pub.
A traditional East End pub with a traditional East European lager.
It used to be a traditional East End pub before they ripped out all the pool tables and literally gutted it. And but also the pub that Dave Bautista was supposedly the landlord of in the 2017 hit. Well, not really a hit.
Elusistone.
Action film Final Score.
Yeah.
An action film. Most action films are quite fantastical and unbelievable, but I think Final Score actually takes the biscuit of it because that is entirely based around West Ham playing a home leg in the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Hell yeah. And I might not have gone to see West Ham in semi-finals of the Champions League, but I did go to my first West Ham game on the weekend. Football talk in the podcast. Yeah,
And we had we had 3 goals disallowed. You fucking Jonah.
Yeah, no, but I saw the first goal right in front of me. It was incredible.
Kingdom is a jinx.
I don't think I don't
Let's get it trending. Kingdom is a jinx.
I don't think I am.
First time I've ever seen us get 3 goals disallowed in one match, and it's the game that Kingdom goes to see.
I disagree with that statistic. I don't think
Are
I'm
you
jinxed
aware,
at all.
are you aware of any other games would have had 3 goals disallowed in one match?
No, but I'm aware that without me, they would probably would have lost to Aston Villa because Unai Emery is incredible, and
Yeah,
that
but how do
team's
you know?
incredible.
How do you know that? How do you know that on every occasion VAR in Stockley Park went, look at the shirt on that kid with the haircut?
I was wearing my West Ham kit. What do you mean? I blended like nothing.
Look at the state of that kid. We're
I was,
disallowing
was
it.
I was wearing my West Ham kit. Speaking of the state of West Ham fans, though, this will make you laugh, John, because I haven't told you this yet. There was this guy in front of me with his daughter who would have been about 13, and he
Alex,
got
behave.
no, that's not what this man needs to behave.
Did she swear more than you?
No. This guy could be anywhere between 48 and 68. And basically, at the fourth VAR disallow, he went livid. Everyone's, you fucking can't, you fuck. And he started ripping his chair off, and she started going down. He's like, no, you're going to get it later on if you don't shut up. He went absolutely livid. Luckily, he got kicked out of the stadium, and his poor daughter.
Welcome to the family enclosure at West Ham.
Like bless his poor daughter, because she was clearly like, this has happened before. This is her first rodeo in this kind of scenario. But Oh, we were right by the Villa fans. He was like, "Do you want some? You're from fucking Birmingham. I'll have you all day long." Fucking
It's
nightmare.
classic football
How,
fan.
how old would you say he was?
Anywhere between 48 and 68. I can't quite determine.
So you might not have been a year or two earlier.
No.
Because if he could have been a year or two younger, then it could be somebody I went to school with. You never know.
But has it deterred you from returning to a football stadium?
No, I'd go again. It was great fun. The beer was actually surprisingly cheap for London prices. I was like, what the fuck? It's cheaper than a beer, mate. It was £5.20 a beer.
Cheaper
God,
than the BFI.
What were you drinking?
A fucking Camden Hells.
Okay.
I'm bad. I was taken aback by the £5.20 beers. But no, it was good fun. I had a really good time. Had a few beers, had a laugh, and yeah, can't complain. Good result. Took the point.
And then obviously prior to the visit to the hostelry as well on Saturday, there was something else that you chaps did.
All of the Doctor Who nerds are loving this pub and football talk already.
Yeah, socialising. Doctor Who fans.
No,
They're like opposing
I
magnets.
think they socialise just at Doctor Who events.
Yeah,
like
they come out.
Like the one that we went to on Saturday.
They're like Michael Bublé at Christmas, and they come out one time a year for one reason and one reason only. But yeah, we went to
I wasn't aware that Michael Bublé had made that life choice.
Yeah, it's a bad. But yeah, we went to the Who shop. Basically just huddled around for most of the day. We basically just went there to say hello to Owen and just kind of huddled in the Who shop for a bit.
I didn't go there to say hello to Owen. I went there to say hello to Alex, who owns a shop, not you.
Yeah, not me. And then I ended up seeing our good friend Daniel Anthony again, who obviously me and John and Beef met at Galley. And I called him a knob because he broke an expensive piece of Doctor Who kit, which is irreplaceable. And
what did he break?
so basically one of the fans gave him one of those Sarah Jane watch things, that you can't get anymore. He put it around his arm and he took it off and it snapped. And he was like, "Can I pay for a new one?" And they just went, "No, you can't get one anymore." So he was fully prepared to pay, but obviously now it'd be hundreds of pounds. And then so yeah, that happened. And we just went down on the few beers and just had a really good time, actually. I kind of prefer those meetings to BFI. Sorry for anyone that goes to the BFI and is listening to this. I do enjoy meeting you. But like just have a nice kind of sit down in a small pub, a few of the guys and just chill out. It's a nice breather instead of having to be like, "Oh, I've got to go, got to make sure I go see this person, this person, this person."
It does. It does make a change for you to have a nice sit down, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's rare that I do that, John. You know what I mean? It's very rare. It's very rare. But yeah, and apart from that, the internet exploded at the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, news. I think let's start with the less. I say less controversial. The slightly less controversial of the two issues on the subject of sitting down. Somebody has been sitting down to write an episode for series 14, haven't they?
Yes, the goat is back. Stephen Moffat returning.
The return of the king. The champ is here.
So like the quality of writing in Doctor Who went RTD, and now we've just gone Moffat. So it's got even better, lads. And I'm sorry, that's just the prism of modern Who writers. It's a fact. The king is back. The goat is back. He is here, and he's ready to save Doctor Who because it was in the mud. I'm obviously joking, but that's just what I've seen on Twitter. Some people have been saying that.
It is brilliant, though, that the first episode, by the time this broadcasts, by the time the episode broadcasts, it will be the first episode in over 4 years not to have been written or co-written by a showrunner, and it's been written by a previous showrunner.
We love it, but this is prime Doctor Who. No, obviously,
it's Moffat. It's Moffat writing under Russell T Davies, which history tells us is good.
It's a grand combination.
It's at their worst, they come up with Girl in the Fireplace. At the best, they come up with Absolute Solid Gold.
Yeah, I mean,
the one fact that I do like about it is that someone said that the last time they wrote together in the same series is now longer the gap than when Revival and Classic Who was about which is mental. To think
Yeah,
about.
we're old, Oshan.
We're approaching the point
Yeah.
now where literally anything in RTD1 is going to be longer than the gap
That's
between
mental.
Survival and Rose. In about a year's time, we'll be at that point, I think.
That's
hell.
crazy. I mean, realistically, I think it's a really good choice. I understand people like being like, "Oh, I want the show to move forward." I'm just happy that Stephen Moffat's last contribution to Doctor Who television won't be Twice Upon a Time, because that's not great. And I love Moffat. He's my favorite Doctor Who writer by, I'd say, a country mile probably. And because when Moffat's good, he's unbeatable, and I'll stick to that fact. A good Moffat script beats a good RTD script. I mean, don't get me wrong, Moffat probably has more misses than RTD, but I'm just focusing on the positives.
I mean, Moffat has a missus and an RTD for.
This is true. This is true.
It's very pleasing to hear.
It is.
I think this is something that had been speculated on for a long time and everything like that.
Yeah,
And
it's nice to
this
have it
is the
finally
official
confirmed.
confirmation, isn't it?
To my mind, nobody understands Doctor Who or the concept of the Doctor better than Stephen Moffat. Yes, sometimes he winds people up, but in terms of getting the show and getting the appeal of the show, when you actually sit down and hear him do a talk or a Q&A or whatever on Doctor Who, he just fucking gets it.
Yep. He's also a lovely man. He's also just a nice guy.
It was lovely when we met him.
He's lovely. He's having a great day.
Absolutely lovely when we met him. He's top lad.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing, right? I see this argument all the time. Oh, we need new writers. We need new blood, new era. My brain goes to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not going to complain about, a good writer coming back. Like it's just something it's not a mechanic in my head that I can complain about. Like it's the equivalent, again, talking about football, it's the equivalent of, like, realistically, if someone asked me, look, would you like Declan Rice back at West Ham? And if it would just happen, I'd probably say yes, because why wouldn't you have one of the best players to come back into it's just a fact of life. Like,
you say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The general consensus of opinion is that it was a little bit broke, and this is it being fixed.
yeah, but like him writing for Doctor Who, I don't think was ever broken.
This is the point. Moffat is part of the fix.
And to be honest with you, this is the first time.
Talk about new blood. We've had 4 writers confirmed, with maybe 1 or 2 episodes yet to be confirmed. We've had 4 writers confirmed. 2 of them have never written to the show before. So that's 50% of our writers are new.
This is just tweets I've been reading, John, and people
Yeah,
going,
and
new.
most of the writers we've had for the last 5-7 years have been new writers. They haven't been old writers.
You know, you can read tweets about it, but you can also engage your brain and go, well, hang on a minute.
I'm
simply not correct.
I'm not agreeing with the tweets. I'm not agreeing with the tweets, John. I'm just stating their perspective.
I think
yeah, but it's a bullshit perspective. It's generally speaking, it is a perspective from people who have come into this era with a determination that they are going to find reasons not to like it. And exactly the same way as with the previous era, there were people that went into it with a determination that they were not going to like it.
What do you guys think about the whole thing about RTD asking Chibnall first, and then obviously him turning it down? I mean, I think that obviously he's just come off writing the show himself, so it kind of makes sense maybe why he would have turned it down.
I can understand why Chris wants a break from it. He's got other projects on the go. You know, when we met him last year, like last February, he was out there putting pictures together and, you know, working on other stuff. He's probably still doing that.
I mean, I get it. I think realistically,
they won't at some point in the future.
Realistically, I think you can understand why the man doesn't want to do it. I can entirely understand if the guy was just like, fuck this, absolutely not. Realistically, because, like, he was, no matter what you think about the writing, there was a lot of personal attacks. And, like, although he said, oh yeah, that doesn't affect you, and I'm sure, like, he's smart enough to know that that doesn't get there. Like, I can understand why he wants a break from that space. To immediately jump back in after about, realistically, it's been like 18 months since his last
But
episode.
he ate, slept, and breathed it for the
Yeah.
entirety of the run. He did it during lockdown as well, in which he wrote the whole of Flux himself. I can understand him just like saying, "Do you know what? I just need a break from it." To be honest with you, yeah, RTD didn't really come back and write anything for the Stephen Moffat era. By the same token, Stephen Moffat didn't come and write anything during the Chris Chibnall era. People just need space and distance for it. They're spent and like. When they've got ideas, then they'll come back and do something.
And people, we can talk about personal attacks and stuff, but nothing that Chibnall got is anything compared to the vitriol that Moffat used to get, particularly during the Capaldi era.
Moffat, I don't know.
No, Moffat was absolutely castigated. There is no way that anybody can convince me that Chibnall's had it worse. At best, they are on a par, and I think there is a very strong argument to say that Moffat was treated a lot worse by the fans.
But here's my point, though, is that'll be more raw for Chris, like realistically. And also, again, I have no idea. I'm not, didn't speak to him about this particular, but like you can imagine.
As Beef just said, if Moffat had got the offer literally after leaving, he would have turned it down.
Exactly, and I just
exactly the same situation.
Yeah, and I also I just think realistically, if you asked me, would I want to see a Chris Chibnall script right now? I'd probably say no myself. I'd probably be like, do you know what? We need a bit of a gap. Let's just chill out. Let's give it time, because also time breeds better ideas. Like Beef was saying, you need time to Moffat is a really good writer. RTD is a really good writer. Realistically, they're not able to just pump out these ideas consistently. They're not a conveyor belt of who ideas for ages.
Even though I give Chibnall a stick, I would like to see him under another writer again and see how he works like that, because maybe working with other people he might do better. I don't know, because he did amazing in Torchwood, so there's no excuse. He did amazing with his own work as well.
He wrote Day One. I mean, I obviously love the man, but no, I mean, this thing with Chibnall is that I think his best work is in his own era.
I mean, there's stuff in other areas I've liked. I really enjoyed 42. I really enjoyed The Power of Three.
I love The Power of Three.
The only reason that didn't work was nothing to do with Chibnall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to do with the actor, right? He didn't want to film the end or something. Is
production issues around filming it? Basically, they just couldn't get it completed, so they had to change the ending. What the reason behind it was depends on who you listen to, so we probably shouldn't speculate. But it's basically they just, because of clashing of personality or production issues, they couldn't get it finished.
There you go. But yeah, Moffat's back. Doctor Who is back. It's finally back. He's come to save it from the clutches of RTD.
What's he doing? Episode 3?
It's
Episode 3?
I had rumors of Christmas, but I guess
I had rumors of Christmas.
It's an episode of the rumor was Christmas, but no, it is an episode of Series 14. Not seen it exactly confirmed, but people are saying it's episode 3.
Amazing. Right, let's get into.
I mean, also the other news that I guess we need to talk about is Alex, are you familiar with the lyrics to the 1982 Shakin' Stevens hit Green Door?
No.
Which begins midnight, one more night without sleeping.
Right. Let's get
Friday nights, midnight, one more night without sleeping. We all know what we're going to be doing for 7 weeks.
Let's get into this. So Doctor Who announced that they will be airing on iPlayer at midnight going forward, and at 7 p.m. on BBC One, I think. Realistically, right, the internet's got an uproar because...
By the way, folks, so if you're elsewhere in the world, you'll be watching it at a different time because it'll be simulcast.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? The internet went in an uproar because apparently they have bedtimes on a Friday night. And do you know what that means? They have to go to bed before midnight. But do you know what that means? They can't just wake up and watch the episode because of spoilers. Oh, this actually fucking infuriates me.
It's a very special breed of Doctor Who fan that thinks they are somehow going to be spoiled in their sleep.
It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. I mean, look, here's the thing, right? When it comes to this sort of thing, I had said it when it was announced. I don't care when it's out because I can watch it at the volition of my own time when I want to. And realistically, if I don't want to get spoiled, I just don't go on Twitter.
Yeah,
End of.
You're not addicted to social media, Alex.
No, but like, it's again, this might be a very stupid comment from me if it is. But if you're talking to somebody specifically on Twitter, can you not, in some form or other, set up another way of communicating with them? So in the gap that you've not seen it yet, you can message them, whether it be on Messenger or even if you want to go via email, for Christ's sake. Like, just
I can think of absolutely nobody in this world, and this is no offense to any of my loved ones or dear people. I can think of absolutely nobody in this world who I could not go 19 hours without speaking to, except possibly Sparky, and Sparky is not going to spoil.
realistically as well. I see people like have been upset that they get 2 episodes at once. Right, first of all, the Doctor Who fans, and I'm saying this is a blanket statement, but I kind of do mean Doctor Who fans are the only people that are going to complain about getting more at once. It doesn't make sense to me. You get 2 episodes, enjoy them. Oh, it's only on for 7 weeks. Previous seasons were on for 6 weeks and 3 weeks. Why are we now moaning that we've got double that time? It doesn't. Oh, you watch things on Netflix in a day and you don't moan. Why? It baffles me.
I mean, I'm not going to name the individual, but I saw one of Twitter's premium moaners over the weekend saying, I really hate binge watching. This is the worst decision the BBC could have made. And I kind of went back to him and said, surely by your own argument, this is not the worst thing they could have made. The worst thing they could have done would have been dropping all 8 fucking episodes at once.
Again, I don't. It's like dropping it at midnight is absolutely fine. We get like just to go back to other things, right? Biggest shows in the UK: Stranger Things, Sex Education, any Marvel series, especially Star Wars series, they all drop at like 8 a.m. or something like that, and we don't moan. And anybody that goes, do you know what? Doctor Who is a staple on a Saturday night with the family. Cool, you can still watch it.
I mean, guess what? In terms of those Marvel and Star Wars shows that drop at 8 a.m. over here, guess what time that is in LA where they're made? It's fucking midnight.
Yep.
It works.
It works. I mean,
anything specific to Doctor Who or personal against Doctor Who, it's the Disney model, it's the Disney Plus model, it's what they've done since they launched the platform, and it clearly bloody works for them.
Yep. And I've seen arguments about people going to work and stuff.
You have the option to ignore it. You know, I get that it's not ideal for some people. Guess what? 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening was not ideal for some people. If you are working in retail, you're having to rush home. If you're working in hospitality, you're having to ignore stuff until you get home. And sometimes your show's shattered that you can't watch it until the following morning. Maybe, just maybe, sack off your privileged little lives and think, okay, this doesn't suit me. It's not ideal, but guess what? There's always going to be somebody that it doesn't suit, and this is not the end of the world. So I am not going to throw my dollies out the pram. I am not going to proclaim that I'm leaving Twitter only to come back 12 hours later. I am not going to start a fucking government petition.
But like, this is the thing, right?
And
About
if you're not out there on the internet, you're not following these things, you think that I'm making that shit up? All
Nope.
3 of those things have happened.
Yep. It's saying like, and this is me being legitimate honest to the listener. If you're bitching and moaning about something being more available to you on iPlayer, whenever you want to watch it your own volition, I don't get the argument. I get people saying, oh, it's a Saturday night staple, 7 p.m. Well, guess what isn't a staple anymore? Watching television on terrestrial at a time when that's the first time it's dropped. That's not the norm anymore. So do you know what? Evolve with the times. The amount of times people have argued that Doctor Who is, as a brand, is so behind the times. So they do something to get up with the times, and you bitch and moan. Grow up. I hate that terminology, but legit, in this time, grow up. Watch it when you want to. Fucking wait to the end of the 8 weeks you want and binge it. I don't care. But stop trying to make it a massive thing.
got friends that did that. I've got friends that did that with the specials.
Yeah.
A friend of mine I was at college with, she's like, I've not watched them yet because my kids are at uni. I want to watch it over Christmas when they get back. And that's what they did. And it works. You know, it legitimately, it's like, how dare you give me the freedom to watch this whenever I fucking like?
Yep. And I'm away for the first 2 episodes, but I just sat there going, "This is fucking ridiculous.
What are you doing, Alex?
I'm going to be in Poland."
We're
Ah.
invading Poland. Excellent.
Yes. And I also had someone message me afterwards saying, "You can watch it on Disney Plus." I went, "Why the fuck, while I'm away in Poland, will I want to spend an hour and a half of my time watching Doctor Who?"
Well, then you're a fake fan.
Shut up.
Yeah, what's the
No,
point of
I'm
this
not.
podcast?
And,
then,
and, and,
Alex?
and you cancelled your order for the season 15 box set as well.
I did. Well, John, it was beers with you guys at the weekend, or it was Series 15. And I'm going to be honest, mate, I'd rather have beers with you lot than a box set.
I'm not going to say which choice I'd make if I would have to choose between those two things.
For me, it is a storm in a teacup.
It is.
Yep.
The casual viewer will not have any fucking idea of any of this because they will just show up on the Saturday and watch it. Now,
Well, they might show up on the Saturday morning.
I mean, what I'll be interested to see is like how much they like input into the marketing on it. Because obviously the marketing will be different, because if you were doing it through the general model of, well, it's all going to go out and it's going to be broadcast at this time on a Saturday, then your marketing is engineered towards that. So whether they are going to like dial back on that a little bit, fine. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm cursed because I always go on holiday about May every year, and over the past few years, everything has happened in May. The first BFI for season 12, I was on fucking holiday. The Jodie Whittaker leaks from The Woman That Fell to Earth, that happened when I'm on fucking holiday. Yeah.
Beauty Jetwire announcement.
Yeah, that's it. Announcements fucking happen, and I'm on holiday, and I've got to use the shitty hotel Wi-Fi to try and find out what the fuck's going on. So it's when this happens, I'm on fucking holiday this year. No, I'm not telling anyone where I live, because there will be people in my house and you will be stopped. So don't think you can come to my house when I'm away. But I'm going to be in a position where 1 o'clock in the morning, I ain't going to be watching it because I'll be probably a bit gas up, or probably falling asleep at that point, because I'm an hour ahead because I'll be in Spain. The one thing I would say, because the way that people watch TV now is completely different. There is probably a reasoning behind this, and I try and take this from a very sort of the nature of the internet is what it is. This is the time we live in. If you know that your shows are going to get spoiled, whatever happens, whatever time it's aired, whatever. If you can't watch it, then don't go on social media. If you can't resist the urge to stay on social media, well, there you go. There goes the pratfalls, and that's the fault with it. But this has been, I think, to a certain degree, it takes a lot of the wind out the sails of what is the stick that's always used to beat the show with, which is the ratings. If it's going to be put out, it's going to be the +7s, and there's going to be a lot of traffic on iPlayer. There's not necessarily going to be that as high broadcast ratings. It's going to take away that comparative stick that's always used to beat the show with, because it's a shitty metric to use these days.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that counts is the +7s, because it combines with the on air ratings and the iPlayer views. So that's the only thing that's really worth a shit these days looking at. But I think some people have a bugbear with is that it's engineered more towards the American audience, because it's at a more suitable time for them. But I don't have a problem with that, because they're trying to. They've got in with Disney. Disney are trying to market the show to more of an American audience to get those people more on board. And with that, if you want that investment into the show, to put more towards it, to do more for it, to push the show forward, well, do you know what? You're going to have to make a few concessions anyway, and I don't think that's too much of an ask, really.
But also, I'd argue, is it more prime time for the States? Because, like we talked about Marvel and Star Wars and that, those drop at midnight in the States.
And that's
So-
what, as I said earlier, that's a false argument anyway, because this is standard practice to drop a show at midnight in the country where it's been produced.
Yeah. I mean,
This is Disney's go-to model.
and again, the metrics about ratings and stuff is dumb. But I was going to say this, right? You want to talk about the ratings in the UK? They were great and fine. You can blame that about being prime time in the UK, right? You can say they were good. But look at the ratings in the US. Disney Plus, Doctor Who was like number 3 or number 2 behind Frozen. Because guess what? It was Christmas time. And everyone's watching fucking Frozen. But like even in like Venezuela and shit, it was top tier. So it's clearly doing well. Let them do their thing. And I've always had this weird thing as well when people don't like the things they like getting popular, right? Whether it be a band or a TV show or a movie. Why? Because when it gets popular, it gets more money and it gets more shit they can do with it. It makes no sense. So just enjoy the ride they're taking you on. Stay up past midnight if you want to, or don't. Get some ready break in the morning, eat, or just wait and be 65 and watch it when it's on at 7, 8 p.m. And you can watch Eurovision if you want to as well. Do what you want with your life.
But is it on the subject of far right states and politics? Is it just me who, when I hear this Doctor Who's a British show and it should be for the British, it's a bit of a GB News vibe from that.
Yeah. Well, if you're in a pub, John,
I think it's
It's like have you taken anything from the show? Did you hear the England for the English line from Pertwee and think he was fucking endorsing that?
I think what I try, because there are some people who are like a little bit nutso over it. The show, the BBC output is funded via the license fee. So I think that's where it is people just have this weird proprietary, they think they have this proprietary ownership over it, which I don't agree. I don't agree.
In that case, they
But
don't.
that's probably what it is.
In that case, they don't understand how the funding model works because, not everything the BBC produces is funded by the license fee, and actually, a lot of what goes into Doctor Who will not be funded by the license fee. So, they before they start employing an argument like that, they need to actually read up on the facts and understand what they're talking about.
yeah.
When
They're talking out their asses.
A percentage of it is, but not all of it. Yeah,
Not all of it. And I mean, hell, the Disney deal would have put a lot of money into the promotion of Doctor Who, etc., etc., etc. So,
Mickey.
global money there.
I've been a bit quiet about this because when it came out, I will admit, like when the news dropped that it was changing times, I was a bit annoyed. And it's not the sense of I'm a person that likes a bit of a schedule. And for me, knowing that all this would have to change, it was a bit frustrating for me. But I know that I could have just, but now what happened was I was annoyed. I was trigger happy going at people going, this has really annoyed me. I messaged my mum about it and I went, Mum, Doctor Who's really pissed me off. And her response is the thing that made me go, oh, do you know what? Let's probably calm down a bit. Because the first thing that she said was, oh no, first world problems. And it made me go, do you know what? Fair enough, Mum. Why am I getting angry over this? So yeah, I mean, there's still a part of me that's like, what was wrong with the old times and when it came out with the specials, but I can understand with the whole Disney Plus thing. They would.
I do wonder whether some people feel burned because if you remember with Class, that aired on all in one go. Don't get me wrong, on iPlayer first before it was broadcast. But the way they did that was what people forget. Is the way they did that was completely fucked because they put it out on iPlayer and they didn't broadcast it till like 2 months later. So that was completely fucked up. So this is not a repetition of that. Yeah,
And at like, wasn't it at like
They-
10:47 or something on BBC
they
Two?
put it and they put it out on iPlayer without audio description, by the way, as well.
yeah. So,
Wow.
like I say, this is remember, this is not class. They're not going to be like they have thought about this. There is plans and schemes within this.
Yeah.
But I do wonder whether some people just having also this knee-jerk reaction. Well, look what happened with Class. And, Class wasn't great. Far from it. It was
I've not
absolutely
even seen
dog shit.
the thing is, I've not even seen anybody mention Class when talking about it, though.
No, but I some like very vocal fans that we
We've seen
know
a few
about
tweets. Yeah.
have this strange genetic memory that thinking there was something like this that happened to me before, and that's
Yeah.
what they're probably thinking of. When I think about it.
Just to go back to what Arshan said, so I was really worried you were going to bring up what I said to you because I made a funny, but people probably wouldn't take it as a funny because you were like, what about those people that it's part of their life to sit down on a Saturday? I think I just do like get a better life, like as a joke. But like, if that's part of your thing, but like I remember you just going, I remember just laughing.
I think what really confused me because. And I know this is more. It's definitely more Disney than what Russell's Russell's decision because that's the thing. He's that voice of someone that he's big on the family sitting down watching at 7 o'clock, and you still can do that. There's nothing saying that you can't. But I feel like the whole like watch along aspect of it with the fans and everything kind of goes a bit with this. But
does it though, right?
It just gives you the freedom to sit down in a group and watch it whenever you want.
Get on the Zoom.
I know for a fact that for quite a few of these episodes, I'll be watching at midnight on a Friday at the same time as a lot of friends, and we'll be discussing it afterwards.
I watched the Queen's funeral several hours earlier on iPlayer.
Did you get to the end? Did you get the spoilers?
Yeah.
It was the.
It's like Bandersnatch. There's like you choose your own adventure, and you get several different endings. There's one when she comes back.
It was actually the press cut. It actually cuts off 5 minutes before the end.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, that's our opinion on the viewing time.
Screen goes blank, and you just hear a sniper.
Yeah. So that's our opinion on the viewing times. Basically, nothing's changed that much. Watch it when you like. If anything, it's got easier for you. That's our takeaway.
And guess what? If it doesn't, that they've already recorded. They're already doing the series after this. So it's like, if this don't fucking work, then they'll do something different next time. The wheel turns and it changes.
And I think the other thing to bear in mind is there is every chance that when it comes to the final episode of the series, that will not be drops on iPlayer first and will be broadcast live. That's what they do with finales and with key episodes. It's what they did with last week's episode of Casualty. They made a point of saying we're not dropping it on iPlayer first, but it's going to be Derek Dobson's final episode in the show after 40 years. So we want everybody to sit down and watch it together.
Nice.
But it is not a blanket rule. There will be exceptions.
Send all your complaints to @IamConnor63 and he'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Right, moving on to the King's Demon.
Doxed Connor on that situation.
If they saw our group chat, they understand why I'd do that. Anyway, the King's Demon, but first it's Triple Threat. Reminder, John is on 2 points. Beef's on 1.5 after last week. So Beef, Oshan's on none.
There's no chance of coming back from this fucking episode, is there?
Well, I don't reckon anyone's going to get this. I don't think. I just want to know what is the exact date the TARDIS lands?
March the 4th, 12:15.
Correct. Beef takes the lead in Triple Threat.
Fuck's sakes.
It was March the 4th, 12:15. There you go. That was the point.
That was the year, not the time. Just get me, yeah?
Yeah. But I also have to ask, John, was there any questions you thought I was going to ask and therefore had done some revision, or?
I don't give a flying fuck. I've lost the will to live.
Well, I had to write down people's names, so I thought you were going to write Jeffrey Delaney, right? What was the name of this guy? So I put on my notes Jeffrey Delaney about 5 times.
I did wonder if you were going to ask what pseudonym they'd given Anthony Ainley for the Radio Times, but then I realised that wasn't actually in the episode, so you wouldn't know it.
Exactly. But this episode was written by Terence Dudley and directed by Tony Virgo, and it was broadcast on the 15th and 16th of March in 1983, which, like God means, it was only done in 2 days and back-to-back days. It was out of your memory like that. You don't have to wait a week for one of the shittest cliffhangers in Doctor Who. The basic plot of this, if there fucking is one, is as follows: England, March.
Hang on, do you not
1215.
like this?
King John is visiting the castle of
that's
Sir Ruthlin Fitzwilliam. The arrival of the TARDIS serves the medieval joust, but the Doctor and his companions are proclaimed to be friendly demons by the king, who seems strangely interested in their blue engine. It soon becomes clear neither King John or his champion, Sir Gillis Elstram, are who they pretend to be. One of the Doctor's oldest and deadliest enemies threatens the future of democracy on Earth, and he must be stopped. God, that sounds interesting. It's a shame that that's not what this episode really is about.
Right. First off,
It says Gilles, it's not Sir Gillis.
Sorry, I can't read, man.
Did Anthony Ainley not put on one of the worst fucking accents ever heard in Who? Just
Brother.
because of
what was it
mispronouncing
meant
it.
to be?
Brother, I don't. Right. Who wants to go first this week?
I'm
Hans?
going to go first because I'm going to try and be
Wow.
nice about this episode.
Wow, we're chomping at the bit here.
I'm gonna come out and say that from the way you guys reacted last week, I was expecting a load of shit. And that is what I got, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, do you know what? I applaud it for not being one of the worst things I've seen.
Well done.
But it wasn't great. No.
No. Realistically, is this the worst that Davison ever gets? No. No, there is Kinder, there is Snake Dance, and they deserve to go in the pit of hell.
Nah, man.
No, this is through the floor compared to Kingdom and Snake Dance.
No, this is better.
I will grant you that there is an argument to say that this is better than Warriors of the Deep or Time Flight. But
I'd rather watch
I
Time
don't
Flight.
think at least Kinder and Snake Dance have got concepts. At least they're trying to do something. But now for me, this achieves something almost unique. In that, it's 2 episodes. It's clearly a bit of a filler. It's 45 minutes long, bit of a filler, and yet somehow it still manages to be one of the most fucking tedious things I have ever watched in my life. What on earth has Anthony Ainley been smoking? What? It's like somebody went, right, okay, Tony, you're gonna have to play like a sort of medieval French sort of knight of some form, and rather than going off and reading Chaucer or whatever to learn the lingo and the accents and stuff, he went and watched the fucking box set of Inspector Clouseau.
It was like a mix of South African, Welsh,
Oh,
and Scottish.
It was horrendous. Yeah, I'm going to
It
back
was-
John up.
I won't go into the details, but readers of a certain age will know what I'm talking about. There were elements of It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, in there. And it's a shame because actually, when you look at this, the supporting cast is decent. You've got
So good.
You've got Frank Windsor in there, you've got Isla Blair in there, you've got Christopher Villiers in there. Really good television actors who've done a lot of work and who deserve to be in something a bit more substantial than this. Obviously, it introduces Chameleon through circumstances that are no fault of the show's own. We get this companion introduced that we never see again until he leaves. Because literally the software programmer for the robot died after making it. So like they made this show, then the only guy that could program the fucking thing went and died in a boating accident. So they were then left with this thing that they didn't know how to work.
With a lot of, after they shell a load of money into it as well.
Alex, I know it's been 40 years, but I'm going to say it's maybe still a little bit too soon to laugh about a man dying in a boating accident.
You're nothing. It's just the way you phrased it. Oh, but no, I'm going to back you up here, John.
I mean, no. I mean, I'll be. Turlo might as well be non-existent.
Yeah.
Turlo, Jesus
He
Christ.
just gets locked in. He just gets locked in a dungeon.
Yeah, for no reason.
Tegan has a little more to do. Davison's really good in this. I'll grant you. Davison's really good in
The
this.
duel's quite fun.
There's a nice sword fight.
Yeah.
You get to see Warwick Davis's father-in-law as a jester. Genuinely.
I thought.
It's like hey nonny 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 hey nonny oh.
The only Doctor Who story that has a lute player credited. I thought that was actually going to be the question you were going to ask, but
they got a fucking tune in it.
The costume department's working hard, and there's some very strong beard game. We haven't seen strong beard game of this since Logopolis, man.
You get to see an Iron Maiden. There's lots of things that.
No, sorry, Castrovalva. Strongest beard game since Castrovalva.
Yeah,
there's lots of things in there that should be likable about this.
There's two dogs.
Yeah, I've watched it twice in the last. I've watched it twice in the last 2 days.
You got to remember, this is the
thing about it.
This is the season of petulant, ungrateful kids. Yeah, we've had we've had the lad in Snake Dance being a bit of a toss pot. Then we've got the son being a bit of an entitled prick in this one as well. But everyone's working strong Shakespeare game on this. They're giving it their best. Ahs. Where afterwards, I'll see you at the meet, bro.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, and that's it. These guys show up.
They are. That half of these guys think they're at the fucking RSC.
Yeah, that's it. Check out these guys. Yeah. They've got
fucking, if you like horses, you get some good horse action.
Do you?
And, we did, and do love a bit of horse action in Doctor Who.
Jeffrey Delaney dies on one. That's one of my notes. That's
all I can say is Roy Kinnear can't have been watching.
Yeah, John, I agree with you. I think this is somehow 2 parts and it's really tedious to watch. It's a mad shame because as a kid I loved this beef. I'll tell you, as a kid, that's one of my favourite classics ever. I start watching it, I go, it's just not good. There are elements I like. The person playing the king, I don't mean comedian, I mean the actor playing the king is brilliant. He's like my favourite thing in it. Every scene with him in, he's like, yes, my demon. Love it.
Proper Shakespearean now is the winter of our discontent. He's fantastic. But I can sum this up, right? I know I've said a lot, but I can sum this up with one fact. I was sitting there yesterday, and the end of episode 1 came out, and Ainley turned into Ainley. He went, "Oh, my dear Doctor, you have been naive." And I sat there and I thought, please, can we have his fucking old voice back?
Yeah.
Put the French voice back on him.
Yeah. Because at least that's entertaining. No, realistically, it's not good. I don't quite like. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense. Like, why, when the Rose are in the wrong place, they get out the TARDIS just for shit and then stay there? And the king goes, "Oh, why don't we leave, Doctor?" And then he has to have a thing. He's like, "I don't know. I've just got this weird thought." And then suddenly this character comes in and gives an explanation. "Oh, yes, that's why. Because it's all wrong." It's like, all right, cool. Well, that's quite lucky you stayed around there because you're about to fuck off.
Right, when's this?
Chicken outfit's cool.
The costumes and the music are top tier.
The fucking sets, the set's cool. I'll give it that. I thought that the way, like,
They probably nicked it off of one of the fucking Shakespeare productions.
but the
Look, that's not a-
outside stuff
That's not
is
a Doctor
cool.
Who. That is not a Doctor Who budget set. The good thing about them doing historicals and stuff is that literally they can just go around and just ponce off of other productions.
Yeah. But like realistically, like we're talking about all the exterior things being great here, which proves how much the story isn't. The story is lacking. It's boring. It doesn't even end. They just kind of escape, and he goes, "Oh, you'll pay for this, Doctor." And I'll tell you what, he
It's
won't.
like
but
Pokemon.
the next time that Amy appears is a much better story than this one. Fucking hell!
It's literally the next story.
Yeah, exactly, and it's so much better.
But what I would say is, if you think that this is bad, and I mean, I've got this on somebody else's word, I've not listened to it myself, but if you think that this is bad, apparently the novelization is even worse. The novelization has the record for the longest, like the most number of words per minute of televised story
Oh no.
of
Jesus
any target novelization. Somebody's actually sat there and worked all of this out, and it's the most words per time on screen of anything.
Is this the episode before the Five Doctors?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's the episode.
So why the fuck is Chameleon in the Five Doctors?
Right.
Were you not listening to what I just said about the programmer dying in a boating accident?
Yeah, but I know that, but
I couldn't work the fucking thing.
This episode, right, I'm very forgiving of this because I love the Pete Davidson and all the actors. They're doing their best, but what it is they needed to fill this gap in before they did this big Five Doctors thing, giving it all the big dick energy of the Five Doctors. And all it is JNT wanted to be just basically jamming comedian. So it's like, how can we find some way to jam in this, hyper futuristic thing so we can say hip and modern and with the times, and Metal Mickey's really popular on ITV. So what we need to do is let's get a fucking robot in there, and how we're going to do it. And this is what it is. This is basically just JNT trying to shoehorn in a character nobody wanted, nobody needed, and didn't fucking work. Okay? Look at how no one learned the lessons of like, oh yeah, you've got this robot dog, which is quite good in concept, but really fucking impractical. And then you're gonna have this thing that is like, it's not Terminator, it's not Rise of the Machines, this is not AI coming to take over your Doctor Who.
But you can just picture the scene, can't you? Like JNT in a production meeting with these two guys that bring him the robot. And JNT's like, this is brilliant. And he's there with the guy that designed it and the programmer, the software programmer. And he says, this is brilliant. This is wonderful. And you're the only two people in the entire world that can make it work, yeah? That's right.
That's why when we got to Five Doctors, it was just like, stick a guy in a fucking silver onesie.
If I was JNT, I would be like, and please tell me that neither of you are going to be going rock climbing or boating or abseiling or parachuting out of a plane at any point over the next year while I want to use this fucking robot.
Could you just like write us the instructions down just in case we need it? Yeah, I'll do it when I get back from holiday, mate. It's fine. Don't worry. It's all
I really wish that after the Five Doctors, they would have just used the Raston Warrior.
The BBC is a public body. It is one of the
and they funneled in a fuck ton of money.
Core values of any public body that nobody holds all the knowledge. If somebody gets hit with I work for a government department. I get hit by a bus tomorrow. Somebody else can theoretically pick up my workload.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like how the fuck?
Yeah, it's so dumb. And like realistic comedian, like people saying, it doesn't really add much. Like, what was Cleaning going to do? It'll sort of just be a robot. Because, great, it can transform into actors. Cool.
This is the thing, like, it's a robot that can take on another form. So why would you not just go, hang on a minute, the guy that programs the robots browned it. who was big in the early 80s? Let's get Keith Chegwin. Get Keith Chegwin to play chameleon for a year.
Jimmy Savile was big in the 80s. Really?
You
don't want, and not being funny, with all these goatee beards, Rolf Harris would have fitted right in. But we wanted to play it safe.
You could have a different actor playing chameleon for each story.
That's clever. I like that.
Oh no, this was the idea.
Oh mate, fucking Warriors of the Deep. Warriors of the Deep, and you see it at the start. Peter Davison in Warriors of the Deep with Janet Fielding, Mark Strickson,
and Giant Haystack.
Robin Asquith. It'd be wonderful. Robin Asquith has never been in Doctor Who. Robin, if you're listening, please come and be in Doctor Who. You would be brilliant.
As Chameleon. We'll bring him in 2024.
Robin Asquith for the 15th Doctor.
Fucking hell. But no, Jared Haystacks is somebody I would love to have seen in Doctor Who.
Well, we didn't have widescreen TVs these days.
Fuck Jesus.
Hey, look, he's a big fan.
Are you telling me that Giant Haystacks didn't play the Merker?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
That's Big
I
Daddy.
think so. Big Daddy, that.
Shirley Crabtree.
Obviously, like in the early 80s, Pat Bomber Roach was big on ITV, and I'm afraid the same Pet. So this could have been like, get Giant Haystacks or Jackie Pallow or somebody on Doctor Who would be great.
Yeah.
And the annoying thing about the King's Team as well is that it's a story where there's two parts, and yet there's still so much talking and nothing's happening. Like the entire resolution is the Doctor and the Master in the end room, and then everyone slowly funnels in because they need the extended cast to go there because that's what the end. So they just slowly all get. And Tegan pilots the TARDIS at the right time for that to happen. And Turlo goes, "I want to fucking stab him." And it's like, "No, Turlo, not yet."
Tegan can fucking fly the TARDIS better than literally anybody else in Classic Who. You can tell she's airline trained.
Also, Tegan's ending, like the ending of the episode with Tegan, is really strange.
Yep.
Right. What I would do is I'll put it in a way because I will always stand up for my boy Davison's era. People have issues with it, but
I love Davison, just not this one.
Right. At the end of the day, the idea is that Magna Carta doesn't get signed, King John's discredited, and that's it. Yeah, it doesn't sort of get fixed because basically the king turns into a chick and then they just like drag her away. And the guy he's just done the pledge to go join the Crusades, well, he dies. So he doesn't really like go there and come back. So the king still goes to the Crusades still happen and shit like that. But it's like, guy died. So his family's like quite inconsequential. But if you want to put it towards the modern era, hey, guess what? The guy that came back to stop Rosa Parks going on the bus and everything like that, the idea was a bit pointless too. So, do you know what I mean?
To be fair, we say that shit too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you want to be hating on my boy Pete and King Demons, you want to be hating on Rosa too, Chief.
Yeah,
you check yourselves.
I don't know if you've checked the internet, but over the last 5.5 years, there've been plenty of people shitting on that episode. People like to poke this one and everything like that.
No, it's like
one of my favourite bits is when Tegan turns around and goes, "What about the Master?" And the Doctor basically goes, "Oh, he'll probably just get bored and fuck off," and that's exactly what he does.
Well, yeah, I've booby trapped it. I've booby trapped his TARDIS. Yeah, you don't get a payoff to it, but what I like is just that basically there's a point where the Doctor just beats him in a sword fight. He's going to kill him, and what it is and then just like whips out a dildo.
I but I mean, that sword fight.
Okay, it's not a compression thing, but it's just like, hey, guess what?
No, but-
Floppy,
I
floppy,
know, but this is
floppy.
legit. This is legit. In my notes, I did put in my notes. I did legitimately put this is really sexual. I did in my notes, but this is oddly sexual. I was like, what is happening? I was just so confused. It's like the tension of when Amy first turns, and it's like, oh, they were softly speaking. It was weirdly. It was like, oh, will you do me the favor, Doctor? And he pulled out a sword. It's like this is really sexual. This is like.
I mean, I like it. I like the sword fight.
No, it's great.
It's not quite Delgado and Pertwee in the Sea Devils. I like it, but the problem is, and I dear listener, I recommend you all to do this. Go and watch it on iPlayer with audio description, and because of the dialogue and what's going on, the audio description actually tells you the end of the sword fight about 5 seconds before it happens.
Really?
It goes. The Doctor steps on the tip of the Master's sword and holds his sword to his throat. And then it's like...
And then the Master whips out a big black cock.
5 seconds later, that's exactly what happened. It's like, all right, okay, you know.
Then things got strangely sexual. Yeah.
And then they,
Oh,
What? I've
you
got a
know,
note here.
what I will say for this is, although I found it tedious, I can't say it was boring. And, you know, it made me feel emotions.
I
And
can say it's fucking boring.
I would rather have something like this that I can sit here and properly get my teeth into and take the piss out of a little bit than some of the ones that we've reviewed in the past.
Exactly.
We just sit there and go, oh yeah.
It's like Camp Rock.
There
It's
you go.
like that level
No,
of-
don't. I
Exactly.
do, but like, here's the thing, right? Is that I would say, John, you're kind of correct. But part two, as soon as Amy drops the facade, it becomes really dull because all the things that make it funny are now just sort of half serious. After the big black cock scene, they're just talking to each other. Nothing's happening.
Well, no,
And-
what is it? It's saying, no, he's your demon, he's your G. No, he's not. I'm the good demon. They're the bad demons. Yeah, and that's it. So it's sort of like it's a plan within a plan within a plan within a plan.
Alex,
And
what do
it
you mean?
just-
Jeffrey Delaney dies on a horse. That's the main moment from the second episode.
Right,
Yeah,
it's just, and it doesn't end either. I have to agree. The fact that he just goes, "Oh, the master probably just fuck off." I mean, he does do it.
It's literally an episode of fucking Pokemon. Well, where it's like, we'll get you next time.
There are okay, yeah, there are a lot of loose ends by the end of it. Like, you know, Jeffrey's death is just pointless because
Yeah.
it's sort of like, well, what was he going to do? Well, I'll give you a lift to London, man. Just hop in my blue engine. Hop in my blue engine. That's a pickup line, isn't it? But you know, things don't work out and everything like that. You know, the Master's TARDIS has boobies. Yeah, the Davison era never dull.
Right. I think I've also like the music in this one. I really like the music.
I mean, the Davidson are never dull until we get to reviewing Forward to Doomsday. But
Yeah, I mean,
The
also
only
the
other note I've got here is Turlo's great in this.
is he?
No,
What?
it's like no. I've said Turlo's great in this with 3 dots at the end, so meaning that I probably didn't think that. And then what's Zerophas?
Zerophas. Well, I mean, if you need to find out what Zerophas is, Oshan, and this
Does
will
that
be a
mean I need to
wonderful journey
watch
for you.
fucking?
Previously on
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
If you need to, what this will. Now that's a reference to the Master's previous appearance,
Oh.
where again he appears in disguise. So I kind of I don't want to spoil it for you, but there is a story in season 19 where the Master does turn up. I mean, if you want me to spoil it, I'll tell you what story. But you know,
If you want, I don't mind.
go and watch Time
Bad.
Flight.
It's bad.
Go and watch Time
It's
Flight.
bad.
Yeah,
Don't watch Time
I
Flight.
will
Don't watch
admit,
I mean, you know, if you think
And Turlo has not met the Doctor.
if you think that this is bad, Time Flight makes this look like Doctor Strangelove.
oh,
Time Flight Man.
I didn't mind. Like, I generally thought that the
It's a
makeup
jam.
If
for
you-
the Master wasn't that bad. Like it did take me a while to
It's
realize
more the
who it
performance.
was.
Okay, hang on. Just to
It's the
clarify.
performance that.
Whoa. But for reasons that will become apparent once you've watched it, just to clarify, when you say you didn't think the makeup for the Master was not bad,
No.
right, you are referring to the King's Demons and
I
not
am.
Time Flight.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that because
Good point, well made.
for reasons that is a reference that you would not make.
I probably shouldn't say.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I meant for the King's Demons.
Yeah, the will. Yeah.
Well, you know, the internet being what it is, we just need to clarify. We are not saying that the makeup that the Master wears in Time Flight is in any way cool, right, or acceptable.
What it means.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I like the music.
And this is also more acceptable.
Oh, okay. I've had a look at the makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that. Don't worry, guys. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's not.
Music slaps.
I like the music. The music's great. I like the costumes. Costumes is great. Davison's great. Fucking the person playing the King's great. Love it.
Yeah, I like
Just the
Davison's
plot
little
shit.
medieval cloak thing that he
The
wears.
sword fight slaps. The lute player, absolute bot.
Jousting's
like-
cool.
Jousting's
Jousting's
quite interesting.
fine.
Yeah.
Jousting
It's just-
kicks ass.
The medieval stuff in this story is really good. I'll give it that.
And not being funny, the other thing I would say is that the actual language used as in that I will see you at the meet. And all the actual historical language that's used to describe how they would meet, how they would go off, and everything like that is actually accurate.
I think what we're essentially saying here, guys, is that
It's fucking good.
is that literally
Fuck you, internet.
Is that literally everything that bears no relation at all to the fucking plot.
Yes, yeah. We like everything except the plot. Yeah. And Turlo, fuck you, Turlo.
Beef saying fuck you in there. I doing the finger guns. It's one of my favourite moments of the podcast ever.
That's it. No, that's fine. I'm glad the comedian didn't stick around afterwards, because if you put any AI onto social media or anything, it sticks around too long, it ends up becoming radicalized and really racist. So yeah, there's a reason comedian didn't stick around, apart from the guy dying. But aside from that, it's just like,
But it's like the whole point of the story is to introduce this new companion that then doesn't appear until it fucks up.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's John Nathan Turner's biggest folly. That was.
I mean,
that was on the show.
I can say, yeah. I've read an autobiography. I've read a biography.
That was on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's time for scores on the doors. Right, I'm going to go first. I'm going to give us a 3. I'm going to give us a 3 because I enjoy the aesthetics and I enjoyed the music. I think Davison's really good. And also, shout out to the King because he's a boss. I like the King, but the actual plot sucks ass. 3. Who wants to do next?
7, baby.
What the fuck?
7, baby. Yeah, look at that. No, look at it. I'm not being funny.
The way you went 7, baby, did that, and I went, yeah, boy.
David and his crew rock into medieval England, and he's there. He knows where it is. It's just like, hang on, this is like March the 4th. Stuff's going down in a few days. If I don't sort this, things are going bad. And then he says to the boss, "Where are you going to do this?" Well, yeah. They say no one likes the French. Guess what? Well done. Good point. Well made.
Hello to all of our French listeners.
Au revoir. But that's it. Davison shows up, gets a little bit physical.
I'm gonna be fucking sick.
Dildo shows, banging tunes. People wrapped in furs. This is a pimp convention. This is a pimp convention with OGs. And there's my boy in silver.
Fuck it, 10 out of 10. Fuck it, 10 out of 10. Fuck it, why not?
Look at this. It's a battle of minds. You need to regenerate because your will is not as strong as mine. Hey, guess what? I showed you my will in the hallway. Ooh, hey. That's it. It's always down to a battle of will. Who's got the stronger will? And to be honest with you, the Master's will came out on top on this one.
Thank God for that. Right. Arshan, John, who's next on the scores?
John, do you want to go?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Then I'll go next.
The King's Demon Pit Convention.
I'll probably give it a 4.
Cool.
Yeah, 4.
John.
Pimping.
Simping, not pimping.
I think he gets 2 points for Davison. I think he gets a point for the sword fight, point for the jousting, point for the lute playing. Point for the Iron Maiden, which takes us up to 6.
TARDIS with boobies.
We then half that for Ainley, which takes us down to 3. We half that again for the plot being completely nonsensical, which takes us down to 1.5. And we double it for the fact that it's only 2 episodes long, which I think is up to a 3. But I don't want to be totally mean because it makes some people happy. You know, it makes my boy be happy.
Makes this fella happy.
I'm going to be kind. I'm going to go 3.5. I you know, I was going to say that I'm pleased I never have to watch it again, but I've still actually got that disc to go on my season.
Everyone's happy when the TARDIS has boobies in, when it's Billy Piper or, what's it called? The other one.
Billy Gibson, is that you referring to?
No. When it's what's her face?
Jennifer
Bryant.
Huh?
Nicola Bryant.
No. That's the
Amy
companion.
Pond.
That's when the companion has boobies. When the Doctor becomes a person.
Saran Jones.
Saran Jones. That's it. Saran Jones. When the TARDIS has boobies, yeah, or the TARDIS goes into Billy, and has boobies, everyone's fine with it. But this one, where it's metal and it's an Iron Maiden and has boobies, everyone has a problem.
There we go.
It's almost like the TARDIS having boobies is not the key point there.
But also, the King's Demons Pimp Convention, I'm for it. It's changed my mind on the story.
That's what I'm saying.
Have we checked? Have we checked how many of the cast are still alive? Because I mean, I know Frank Windsor's not, and Gerald Flood's not.
Isla Blair still around?
Peter Burrows, who played Jester, is still around.
What's his face? The one who played
we could probably get the robot to come along, but we won't be able to get it to fucking do anything.
The soppy son showed up in Mummy on the. He was in the Mummy on the Orient Express.
True. There's a good few.
I mean, but can you just picture, like, obviously, Isla Blair.
The horses are no longer with us. I'd like to make that clear.
Like, obviously, Isla Blair is married to Julian Glover. Can you just picture, like, you can imagine the conversation in that house never turns to Doctor Who. It's like, oh, so were you ever in Doctor Who, Julian? Oh, yes, I was in City of Death, the highest audience rating episode of Doctor Who, something that consistently comes out on the top of Doctor Who polls. I'm universally loved.
With Catherine Shell, international star.
We got to go to Paris and film around Paris. We had a wonderful time. One of the best experiences ever. Isla, I was in the King's Demons. We had a robot that didn't fucking work. And
it was a bit cold, but there's a silver boy, and it was a pimping, it was pimping.
And Anthony Ainley and Anthony Ainley spoke like Pepe Le Pew for a week.
But what did you guys think?
Will there be any references to pimps? We're going to find out. Fraser Gregory didn't send me a link. He actually sent me a typed review so that I can read the whole thing. I would have issue.
It speaks much of the team's demons that he couldn't be bothered to write an entire linked review for this.
Yeah, it's at Felix Fraser. I would have issues with the plot of the story if it actually had one. Instead, it's just a device to introduce Chameleon. So thankfully that worked out well. ... As it is, it's impossible to get angry at any way with as it's such great fun. Gerard Flood is having a whale of a time, and Dave Eyre is on top form. The looks he gives the master after the glove snap is priceless, but this is Ainley's tale as he goes all out as both master and sir, however you say it. As a two-part is the perfect way to pass an easy hour.
Hey. Yeah, no, that's but there's people that like it. On the subject of people that like it, Bunny Galore at Bunny Galore. I like the King's Demons, and after rewatching season 20 on Blu-ray, I realised I think I know why. I really find it quite hard going through most of the rest of the season, but this two-parter is just fun. Plus, Chameleon was a genius idea for a companion, which they never fulfilled. But no, I mean, it's fair. It's a genius idea for a companion.
Right. Next up, Jason Thompson at Jason_JTT. The perfect service. Little introduction story. Excuse me. Spoiled by its position at the end of a regular run and the failure of the thing making it was introduced, making it seem entirely pointless. It's a damp score of a season ending, even though we did get glorious fun celebration of the Five Doctors some months later. Had the robot actually worked as intended, it would have been incorporated into stories that followed. I reckon this would be much better viewed. But the fact that it's something we don't see again until its second and final adventure kind of kills it.
Not the only thing that got killed.
No.
James H at FitGeek_UK. It's Doctor Who visits history in the style of a boy's own adventure. While it's never going to top polls, you got that right. I really quite enjoy watching it and think it's just a two-part piece of fun. I just wish the Target version had kept things so brief and light.
There we go. All right, so basically, guys, we're all in agreement.
Was there one more quite
short?
No,
I did that.
No, you didn't. There was one more quite short one.
It was Pimping by
No,
Chris Jeffries.
Somebody basically just went, it was good. But I will find it. I know who it was, but I want to get the exact wording. It wasn't in response to it was in response to one of the other tweets that I did. To the one that I sent yesterday with the screenshot where I went, the things I do for the Timeless podcast. Oh, bugger it. Where is it? This is why I
found it.
This is why I normally screenshot these things, but I didn't this time.
I found it, John, if you want me to read it.
Read it out then, boy. Stop me looking.
So it's from Anthony Forth. He's put cracking little story. I think we're all in agreement that
people of excellent taste.
It is little and it is kind of a story, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I do what I think we've all kind of got our own little bit of fun out of this. Some more than others, but I think bare minimum we found either some way, whether it's intentional or not, we've had a laugh at it. We found some form of enjoyment from it, and that's all we should want from it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it more after having this conversation.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I like to think people will walk away from this podcast thinking of the King's Demons in a completely different way that they would have done.
What is a pimp convention?
It's pimping.
I mean, I don't know what the pimps are like around your way, but
I would be rather confused. Oh, anyway,
could you imagine like Gerald Flood in the style of King John, just going, "Cause I'm a motherfucking PIMP."
I think we could redub this with like literally modern paraphrasing, and it would still come off sterling, amazing. I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we have said so. Thank you for everyone that did leave their reviews. We love reading them. Thank you very much.
Even if we don't agree with them, which was the case for pretty much everyone that got read out today, we will still read them out because we love and respect your opinions. We've even read out reviews from people that I have blocked on Twitter before now. Even if I think you're a twat online, you'll still get read out on here.
What are we reviewing next week? Well, obviously the King's Demons is here, but it won't be that.
It'll be in 2 weeks' time.
Next episode, even. Sorry. It can be a talent story, it can be a Jodie story, or it can be a Capaldi story. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Experiment of the start of a
Yay!
trilogy. It's 3 parts.
Oh, yeah, so we're going to do the entire Monk trilogy.
We may as
No,
well.
What a
no,
we have,
no.
we have to. We
No, they're
have
not,
to.
because they're not. I know it's a trilogy, but they're 3 fucking
No,
different
with
things.
the- with the-
Hang on, Oshan, for the last 3 podcasts, right, you have had a 1-episode story and 2 2-episode stories. You have been let off very lightly for the
Fair
last
play.
podcast. You've had 45 minutes every time to digest. So,
And this
hell
one,
yeah,
and this one's got a pimping pipe.
it has. And you
It
know-
does,
and-
actually.
And you know what this means, folks? Do you know what this means, folks? Because
What?
he gets to talk to you about blind acting.
Yay!
Your boy. All right, so get ready for 2 weeks' time, a bumper episode of the Thomas podcast. We talk about
What?
3 hours of Doctor Who.
Oh,
That means
me.
that triple threat is basically impossible.
For a second there, I thought you were going to have a surprise guest host, but I misheard.
No. Anyway,
It's a Capaldi.
triple
Contain
threat.
yourself.
Triple
King
threat.
John.
I'm saying that triple threat might be multiple points up for grabs next week because
Ding,
Well,
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, but multiple questions, 1 per episode. Go for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oshan could literally be skyrocketing.
Yeah. I
Oh,
could do
hell
it.
yes! And you know what the
Somebody-
great thing is? We get a 4-day weekend just before to sit and watch it. Yeah, boy.
Oh
Yes,
shit,
indeed,
hang
sir.
on. Oh, I'm here. I just realised, yeah.
Yeah, you're not away yet. You're away this week, though, right?
I'm away next week, yeah.
Yeah. When it,
Yeah,
tell
If
us.
if anybody would like to burgle Oshan's house,
That's something I haven't said.
and,
I'm off
You're-
to the City of Death. Is that right?
What?
Haven't you got that right or no?
Yeah, he's off to Paris.
Well,
No, I'm off to Paris.
I thought you meant Exeter.
That'd be a
off
dickhead.
to Paris for a few days, so that'll be fun. So yeah.
I mean, yeah.
off to the City of Death, Gloucester in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
If
that should
you
be
can
right.
get that reference, don't complain.
I mean, what are you going to get up to? You go to Disneyland,
Go to see fucking Mickey Mouse, mate.
our mutual friend.
Mickey Lesserie.
Do you know our mutual friend Chris does a very good Mickey Mouse impression. Next time you see him, I'll get him to do it. Really.
I've met Mickey
I'm
Mouse.
excited.
We did meet Mickey Mouse.
When you meet Mickey Mouse, give him a cuddle. There's no better feeling in the world than getting a cuddle from Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
that's true.
don't touch me there.
Oh God. Hang on, Osh. This episode comes out on your birthday.
Happy birthday for whenever this be.
Go, Oshan.
The 25th.
It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday.
See, yeah,
Yeah.
we can only have that on the loop though.
Osh,
King's fucking demon that's coming out of my birthday. Fuck's
Yeah.
sakes.
Osh, I've got that right. It was Monday, your birthday, right?
It is Monday.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so
I mean, in terms of Who related stuff, I think I win because on my birthday 2 years ago, Shooty Gatwa was announced as a
Ah. Actually, I
Yeah.
think on my birthday, or the day before my birthday, that's when the revival started or something like that, wasn't it? Like the
yeah, but
25th?
that's the day before, isn't it?
I mean, that's not your birthday. That's the day before.
I had a Good Man Goes to War. That's a pretty good episode. I'll take it.
That's all right.
I'll take it. But yeah, there we go. Happy 22nd birthday, Oshan.
Thanks, guys.
Taylor Swift can be.
If anybody here would like to steal Oshan's identity and appear on the next episode on the podcast, we now know his date of birth.
Hey, nonny, nonny,
That's
honey,
true.
hey, honey, no. Hey, nonny, nonny, nonny,
Anyway,
hey, nonny, no.
If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, I really hope you have. You can go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and also check us out on any audio platform. The link to it is in the description. And you can go to about 7 different audio platforms. Do what you like. There's so many of them.
I figured out the Macra Terror episode 3 was released on my birthday. Yeah.
Figured out.
Um,
Looked it up.
Anyway, you can subscribe to us, all that sort of good stuff. Yeah, we've got some really good content coming. The Comic Con vlog is done. I just haven't uploaded it yet, but like we're now 3 weeks away, so I'm sorry it's really out of date, but it is done.
We
But
kept
you
wait
can
a little
follow,
while for the digitals, didn't we?
yeah, and then I've just had some stuff I need to sort out, which I won't go on to here. But you can follow John at JohnBoy _ Cook on Twitter. Follow Oshan at the Oshan Man. Oshan, start tweeting, mate, because we love it. We love
I
it.
know, man. I will.
And follow Beef at the Beefhead, who did tweet the reviews this week. It was an insult to me, but
Yeah,
I'll take
which
it.
everything should be.
And you can follow me at Alex King _ John, which is the Twitter account I don't use anymore, apart from just replying to DMs. But you can follow the Times Pod at you can follow the podcast at Times Pod. Sorry, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. High School Musical 2 probably will be out in the time that the next episode is out. If I don't have a date for it yet, but it's done, and Oshan looks like a tit in it. So it's worth the watch. But yeah, with all that being said, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks' time for a triple bill. Doctor Who. With that being said, John, take us away.
Good night, God bless, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Timeless Podcast. It was the King's Demons, which didn't have enough semen. And I'm going to do this now, so Alex wraps it up.